new topic. Okay, we'll be starting with the new topic today. Okay, so do you have any doubt up to yesterday's class? Do you have any doubt? Yes, up to yesterday's class, do you have any doubt? Anyone? Anyone who is having doubt till yesterday's class? No? Okay. So now I'm going to start with that topic. Okay. Now we have to study this electrical instruments and experimental measurements. Okay. Now yesterday only I told you that because this is a very important chapter, because it is related to the what you can say that experiments. Okay, it is related with the experiment, so that's why this is a very important chapter. Okay, this is a very important chapter. Now we are having two kinds of experimental instruments, okay, or electrical instruments. So while in class 10th you would have done one few experiments. Okay, in class 10th you would have done few experiments, uh, that Ohm's law experiment, a verification of the Ohm's law, you people would have done that. Okay, so you will be having that all those devices, that voltmeter you would have seen there, you would have seen ammeter over there, where you would have seen a device. Okay, where you would have seen a device like this, and there would be a needle. Okay, there would be a needle from 0 to some 3 or 4 anything. There would be reading and there will be a needle, and this needle would deflect. This needle would deflect and you would have taken some few readings from them. Okay, so deflection type of meters are these only. Okay, where you are having where you are having a device. Okay, and directly when you connect that device to the circuit, it will give you direct values, either voltage or potential difference across the 2 points, or the current across the 2 points. Okay, so our main aim is to calculate current as well as the voltage, potential difference value. Okay, so now here I have shown you that deflection type of meters are of are of three types. Okay, one is galvanometer, okay, ammeter and voltmeter. Okay, so these three are the deflection type meters which we have to study. Then we have standard experimental setup. Standard experimental setup, this you will do experiment in class 12. Okay, these are standard experimental setup. So this includes actually meter bridge. Okay, meter bridge. Then potentiometer. Okay, potentiometer. All these things. So meter bridge is a device that is used to calculate unknown resistance. Okay, unknown resistance. This is a device, potentiometer is used to measure the potential difference. Okay, so using a standard experimental setup, we calculate unknown resistance through meter bridge, and using potentiometer, what do we use? We calculate potential difference. Okay, potential difference we calculate. So these we will study later on, but first we shall start with the deflection type of meter. Okay, so the deflection type of meter has are three that we have to go through, which is galvanometer, ammeter and voltmeter. Okay, now deflection type meters. Okay, deflection type meters. So deflection type of meters are when a current is passed through the deflection meter, its needle experiences torque. Okay, so what we are trying to say is that suppose this is a ammeter. Okay, and there is a circuit. Okay, there is a circuit. Suppose I'm having a circuit like this. Okay, and I am telling you that 5 ampere of current is passing through it. I'm telling you 5 ampere of current is passing through it. Now I give you a device. Now I give you a device and I tell you that you just verify with this device that how much ampere, how much current is flowing. So what you will do? You will just take this device to verify that is it 5 ampere only or not. Okay. So you will connect it like this. And then there will be a needle. There will be a needle that will deflect and it will show you the 5 ampere. Okay. So this is a deflection type of meter. Okay, the needle is getting deflected, and that's why we are calling it as deflection type of meters. Okay, that's why we are calling it as deflection type of meters, because the needle is getting deflected. Okay, now the first thing that we have to see is galvanometer. Okay, so galvanometer, I guess few people would have already gone through it. Okay, and in magnetism chapter in class 10th, okay, you would have studied that Oersted's experiment. You'll study it again. So there you would have seen the deflection of galvanometer is in this direction, deflection of galvanometer is in this direction when the current is reversed. So all those things you have seen there. Okay, so what is the use of galvanometer? So it is used to measure small current. Okay, it is used to measure small current. A large value of current you will not be able to measure with the galvanometer. Why? Because of its coiling, because of the coils that it is having. Okay, it is not having a very, what you can say, a high end coil. It cannot bear that much of current or heat. Okay, so we can only measure a small amount of current passing through it. Okay, a very small amount of current. Okay, for large current we don't use it because there may be a what you can say, that coil may get burst. Okay, burning due to excessive heating, there will be a burning. Okay, so that's why we are not using this galvanometer for a large value of current. We'll be only using for a small values of current. So if you want to get an idea that how small, so it will be somewhere around 0.01, okay, ampere, 2 milliamperes, like that. Somewhere around these values we will be able to, not even 0.1, not even 0.2, like that. 0.1, 0.2 are also you can consider as a big value for this. Okay, so in milliamperes only you will be able to calculate the current in this. Okay, fine. Now this galvanometer has two features. What are these two features? Let us see. One is full deflection current. Okay, what is full deflection current? We will see just now. Let's suppose I told you here that I'm passing a current. Okay, I'm passing a current and it gives me a reading 5. Now you tell me whether this needle here, okay, in this case, whether the needle is deflected full or half, whether this needle has been deflected full or half. Yes, whether this needle has been deflected full or half. Half. It is not full. Okay, it is not full, it is half only. Okay, it is not full, it is just half. Yes. Now, so this is not deflected full. Now suppose instead of deflecting like that, if I say that at 5 ampere it is showing you this reading, that means 5 ampere was here. So now is it deflected full? Now is it deflected full? Yes. Is it deflected full now? Hello? Yes, sir. What are you people doing? In this case, is this needle deflected full? Yes. Okay. No. In this meter, in this meter, it is deflected full only, no? Okay. So this is not a full deflection. This is not a full deflection. This I can say is a full deflection. This is a full deflection. Okay. Fine. Now, this is a galvanometer. Okay. This is a galvanometer which is used to measure the current, which is used to measure the current. Now, suppose at IG, now suppose at IG, okay, this galvanometer shows full deflection. Full deflection means IG is the maximum reading which it can show. IG is the maximum reading which it can show. Like thermometer, you just assume a thermometer. So thermometer can show maximum up to suppose 100 degrees centigrade. Okay, I'm making a thermometer which it can read from 0 to 100 degrees centigrade. So what is the full deflection temperature in that case? It will be 100. Understood. Now here you are having a this one. I'm talking about this figure. I'm talking about this figure over here. So for this figure, I have shown you the reading. I have shown you the reading here. Now suppose a current passes, and this needle is here. The needle is here. Is it a full deflected? Is it a full deflection now? Yes. Is it a full deflection here? Yes, it is a full deflection. So can I say that I is full deflection current? I is full deflection current. Okay. Understood? Now, if suppose I is less than its full deflection current, so where it will be? It will be somewhere here. It may be somewhere here. It may be somewhere here. But it will never be here. It will never be here. Okay. It will never be here. It can be anywhere, but it will never be at this point. It will never be at this point. Understood? So this is not a full deflection current. So I can say not a full deflection current. Okay. So just try to understand that that current value at which the galvanometer will be deflected full. Okay. That will be the full deflection current. That will be the full deflection current. So I'm writing that definition here if you want. That it is, I can say that the current value for which the current value for which, okay, galvanometer deflects full. Okay, deflects full. So this is important. Galvanometer deflects full. Okay, so that current will be called as full deflection current. That current will be called as full deflection current. Okay. Now, the second, this was the first property. Out of two features, this was the first feature of the galvanometer. Now, the second property is coil resistance. The second property is coil resistance. Now, you just think that this galvanometer is an electrical instrument, correct? This galvanometer is an electrical instrument, and every electrical instrument will be having circuits in it. Okay, every electrical instrument will be having electrical circuits in it, and this electrical circuit will be having what it will be having? It will be having resistors. Okay, it will be having wire. Okay, it will be having coiling. If anybody would have seen open motor, okay, of fan or water pump, anything, or induction, okay, so you'll be seeing a coil. Okay, wires, copper wires will be there winded. So like that only you have a windings or the copper wires in the galvanometer. Okay, same thing you are having in ammeter also, same thing you are having in a voltmeter also. So what I am saying that this galvanometer is a electrical instrument. Fine. Every electrical instrument will have electrical circuit. Very good. Every electrical circuit will be having that also, wires also. So if it is having a wire, so will it have a resistance? Yes or no? Will it have a resistance or not? Is small or big? It doesn't matter. For now, I'm not concerned about that. For now, I'm not concerned whether it is small or big. Okay, big value or more value of resistance or a small value of resistance. I'm not concerned with that. The only thing I'm concerned is that there will be a resistance. Okay, because it is an electrical instrument, it will have electrical circuit and there are wires present in that. So it is definitely will be going to have a coil resistance. Okay, internal resistance of galvanometer. So whether I will call it as coil resistance, whether you will have a coil resistance in the question, or you may also have internal resistance of galvanometer because it is coming from the device itself. So you may be given in the question as the internal resistance of galvanometer. Okay, understood? Now, the next point is that ideal galvanometer, I have said the resistance must be 0. Okay, the ideal resistance, okay, of the galvanometer must be 0. But for the real, okay, in practical there will be few some small amount of resistance. Okay, so Rg will be very very small. Rg has to be small. So I can say tending to 0, very very small. Okay, that means very very small. Very very small. Okay, now let us understand why I'm saying that ideal galvanometer must be having 0 resistance. Okay, let us understand that why is this ideal galvanometer must not have a resistance in it. Okay, now suppose this is a resistor. Okay, and I am telling you that this resistor is of 2 ohms. Okay, and I connect this with a battery. I connect it with a battery. Okay, and this battery is of suppose 0.2 volt. Okay, what will be the current now? What will be the current value? Yes, what will be the current value? Can I give it as 0.2 divided by 2? Okay, so I can write it as 2 by 20. Okay, so I can write it as I is equals to 0.1 actually. This is the current value. So this how you have calculated? How you have calculated this? This you have calculated using mathematics. Okay, nothing experimental you have done. Now I am telling you to just verify with the device. Suppose if I give you a device that take this galvanometer and tell me the current flowing through the 2 ohm resistor. Where will you connect it? Where will you connect the 2 ohm resistor? Will you connect it here? Will you connect it at this point? Okay, which is position 1, or will you connect it here at position 2? Where are you going to connect the galvanometer, at position 1 or 2? Where are you going to connect the galvanometer in order to measure the current, 1 or 2? And if I'm asking you ammeter, then where will you connect it? If I'm asking you ammeter, where will you connect it? Ammeter, where will you connect? 1 or 2? For galvanometer, you are saying 2. Okay. For ammeter, where will you connect them? Ammeter, where will you connect them? Ammeter, where will you connect them? Okay. Ammeter 1 you are saying, galvanometer 2 you are saying. Okay. What is the work of galvanometer? What is the work of galvanometer? It is to calculate the current. And what is the work of ammeter? It is to calculate the current. Now, if I'm having a resistor like this, so a current is moving in this direction. So you will connect a device here or here. If you are connecting the device here, so what will happen? It will measure the current flowing here, not here. If you connect at second position, so this device is going to measure the current in this of this branch. It is not going to give you the current of this 2 ohm. Okay, so you will connect in series only. You will connect this in series only, not in parallel. So galvanometer is connected in series, not in parallel. Okay, so it should be position 1, not 2. So for real galvanometer, okay, it should be connected in series with the resistor. Okay, and it will be having some small amount of resistor. Okay, Rg. Okay, so the galvanometer will be having a small resistor, and this complete thing will be connected in series with the resistor where you are in the circuit. Okay, so now if anybody is having any doubt with the galvanometer, just ask now. Anybody is having if any doubt, you just ask now. Ammeter will be connected in series only. Ammeter will be connected in series only. Okay, galvanometer is measuring the current, so it has to be measured, it has to be put in the series only, not in parallel, not in parallel. Okay, it has to be also connected in series only. Okay, yes, both ammeter and galvanometer will be connected at the same point. Both will be connected at the same point. Okay, both will be connected at the same point. Now the next is ammeter. Next is ammeter. Okay, the next one is ammeter. I have already told you that ammeter is used to measure the large value of current and galvanometer for a small value of current. Okay, galvanometer is used to measure the small value of current, while voltmeter is used to measure the ammeter is used to measure the large value of current. Okay, now the next what we are going to see is ammeter. Okay, next what we are going to see is ammeter. Now in this ammeter, okay, in this ammeter, if you see, so ammeter is same as galvanometer. It is the same thing what we use for this galvanometer. The only difference is that the galvanometer is used to measure the deflection, okay, or the very small value of current, very small amount of current, just presence of current we try to take from the galvanometer. Okay, but ammeter is used to measure the current. Okay, ammeter is used to measure the current. So any so you can say any value of current. Okay, any value of current. Okay, any value of current. Okay, you can have it. Okay, any value of current you can measure from this one. Any value of current you can measure from this. Okay, now for measurement it is connected in series. For measurement it is connected in series. That why I have already shown you. Okay, in this here, in this previous galvanometer thing, when I was explaining just now, I have shown you that because you have to measure the current of that branch, because you have to measure the current of that branch, okay, we have to connect it in the series only. We have to connect it in the series only. Okay, you cannot connect in the parallel and get the value of current. You cannot connect in the parallel and get the value of current. Okay, now you just see here that for ideal emitter, okay, for ideal emitter, its internal resistance is 0. Okay, like galvanometer, its internal resistance for ideal galvanometer, its internal resistance was 0. For real, it was having a very small resistance. It was having very small resistance. Okay, here also for ideal emitter, okay, it is having, for ideal emitter it is having very small. For ideal emitter, its internal resistance is 0. For lab or practical uses, its value is very small. Okay, now let us understand once again that why it is connected in series. If you have not understand, just focus here. I gave you one question, if you remember. I gave you a question like this, if you can remember. Okay, like this. Yes or no? Do you remember? I gave you a question like this, and I had given you that 5 ampere is flowing here, 2 ampere flows here, and 3 ampere flows here. Okay. Now, if I have to measure the current in this A, resistance A, if I have to measure the current in resistor A, okay, I'm giving you the points A, B, this is C, and this is D. Okay, so where will you connect emitter? To measure the current for A, where will you connect the emitter? Yes, 5 ampere current is flowing. Where will you connect the emitter? Yes, anyone? Where are you going to connect the emitter? Anyone? At B. At B. Okay, at B, A. Anywhere in between. Anywhere in between A and B. In between. Anywhere in between A and B. Okay. Similarly, if you have to calculate the current for this B, so anywhere between B and C, anywhere, if you put, it will be always in this same current. Okay, if you say 5 ampere, so current here also will be 5, here also 5, here also 5. Okay, so everywhere 5 ampere of current will be there. So from A to B, anywhere you can connect it. In this branch, if 2 ampere current is flowing, so here also 2 ampere, 2 ampere, 2 ampere, everywhere 2 ampere. So anywhere between B and C, you can connect it. For this C, anywhere between C and D, you can connect it. Anywhere between C and D, you can connect. Okay, you can connect at A also for 5 ampere. For 5 ampere, you can connect here also, no problem. Okay, for 5 ampere, you can connect at A also, no problem. Is it clear to everyone now? Okay, fine. Now, why I'm saying that its internal resistance, its internal resistance must be 0. Why I'm saying like that? That its internal resistance must have a 0 value. Just let us understand that thing. Okay, let us understand that thing first. So here, suppose I'm giving you a circuit. Suppose I'm giving you a circuit. Okay, so it is 2 ohm and this is 2 volt. What is the current now? What is the current now? What is the current now? Yes, 1 ampere. Very good. 1 ampere is the current. How you have solved this? You have solved this using the simple mathematics, using Ohm's law, using equations. You have solved it. Not practically you have solved. Okay, not with the device you have got. Okay. Now what I'm doing? I want to connect. I will connect emitter here. I will connect emitter here. Okay. Emitter 2 ohms and 2 volt. Okay. Assuming that emitter has zero resistance, what is the current now? Assuming that emitter is having zero resistance, what is the current now? Yes. Assuming that emitter is having zero resistance, what is the current in the circuit? Yes, it is 1 ampere. Very good. It is 1 ampere only. Fine. Now if I say, okay, now if I say the emitter has, now if I say that the emitter has 2 ohms. Now if I say emitter has 2 ohms, now what is the current? Now if I say the emitter has 2 ohms of resistance, okay, what is the current in the circuit now? Is it 1 ampere or less than 1 ampere? It will be less than 1 ampere. It will be what? 2 divided by 4, so it is 0.5. Okay, few people are writing 2 ampere. Increasing the resistance, current also increases. So this will be the current. Okay, this will be the current. Now your current has decreased or not? Your current, what it was supposed to be, it was supposed to be 1 ampere. Okay, but if there is a resistance with emitter, if there is a resistance with the emitter, it is 0.5. So what is this emitter doing? It is bringing some resistance and decreasing the value of current that you don't want. You want to measure the current here. You want to just measure the current here. You don't want any change in the value. You don't want any change in the value due to this emitter. Okay, you don't want any change in the value of current due to this emitter. That's why this emitter must have zero resistance. That's why it is recommended that the emitter must have zero resistance, and practically it is not possible, so it should have a very very small resistance so that potential drop is less. Okay, fine. Now this you have understood, all of you have understood this thing. Okay, now the next topic is we have to construct. Okay, then which device is mostly used to for detection of current? For to detect current, um, to get the value of current, you use emitter. Okay, to get the value of current, you use emitter. Just to check the presence of current, you use galvanometer. Okay, just to check the presence of current, you use galvanometer. For values of current, you have emitter. Emitter can measure small currents also and large currents also. Okay, now we are going to make emitter using galvanometer. Okay, so what was the problem with the galvanometer? That galvanometer was not able to measure a high value of current. Okay, it is only able to measure 0.01, 0.02, 0.03. Now what you wish that should measure using galvanometer, it should measure a current of 1 ampere. Okay, suppose if the galvanometer is having a maximum current that it can take is 0.01. Okay, 0.01. Now you want a current that it can measure is 1 ampere. So what is the difference? It is almost 100 times. It is almost 100 times. Okay, so if it is 100 times, so you cannot give it. Okay, directly you cannot put that 1 ampere of current through the galvanometer. What will happen? That galvanometer will be destroyed. It will get destroyed. So what we are going to do, we are going to construct a emitter from a galvanometer. Okay, so this topic is very very important. This topic is very very important. Okay, this topic is Very, very important. Now let us see here. Construction of emitter by using a galvanometer. So what it is said that it is constructed by connecting a shunt. Okay, what is shunt? Shunt is a small resistance connected in parallel. Okay, connected in parallel. Okay, so it is constructed by connecting a shunt resistance of appropriate value to a given galvanometer. So actually I'm not you're not able to understand this. Okay, so let us understand this with this figure. Now suppose this is the galvanometer you have. Okay, galvanometer. Now the maximum current that it can take is suppose 0.01. Okay, now what you want, that it should measure, it should be able to take a current of I. Okay, where I is 1 ampere. Now what you will do, what you have to do now, if I do one thing, that I allow 0.01 ampere to pass through it, remaining current which is I minus Ig pass through this resistor. Understood what I'm trying to do? I'm allowing this Ig to pass through this. Okay, I'm allowing this Ig to pass through this remaining current. Okay, remaining current I will pass it through this resistor. Okay, so now what will happen? Because this galvanometer can take 0.01 ampere, so now it will be able to take. Okay, now it will be able to take, and it will show you the full reading. Okay, and then you can say that yes, corresponding to I, it is showing you the full reading there. Understood? So I minus Ig is the current that I will pass through this resistor. I minus Ig is the current that I will pass through this resistor. So that is some small amount of current is passed through the galvanometer, and remaining big amount of current passes through this. Okay, do you understand this thing or not? Let me know if you understand this thing. Yes. Galvanometer is converted into emitter by connecting a small resistance across in parallel to it. Okay, so this small resistance is only called as shunt resistance. Okay, this small resistance is only called as shunt resistance. Understood? Okay, let us understand with the some numerical values. Okay, let us understand with the, okay, here only I'll do that. Now when you solve this, okay, so what amount of current is flowing here? Why small? What is the current here now? Yes, 1 minus 0.01. So what you will get? 9.99. You'll get like this. Okay, this amount of current is passed through it. Now suppose galvanometer was able to detect only 0.01. Okay, this is the galvanometer Ig value, maximum current it can bear. It can bear less current also. It can take this current also. Okay, it can take this current, it can take this current, it can take a current less than this, but not more than this. Okay, now what current value you are going to give? I. Okay, I, which is 1 ampere. So this is a suppose a maximum value you will design. What you are going to do, that maximum 1 ampere it is going to take. So maximum for this galvanometer was 0.01. Now you want to make it 1 ampere. Now what you will do, if I pass 9.99 ampere current through this resistor, okay, if I pass 9.99 current through the resistor, 0.01 ampere will be passed through it. Okay, and then I can say yes, at if I'm passing 1 ampere of current, that means 9.99 is going through the is bypassing, is getting bypassed, okay, and only 0.01 is going through the resistor. Now suppose you don't wish to give 1 ampere. Suppose you are giving 0.5 only. Though this is a maximum value, but suppose you are giving 0.5. So what will happen? A current less than 0.01 will go through the galvanometer, and a current less than 9.99 will go through the emitter. Okay, so all those calculations we will be doing. Understood? So what you are trying to do here is that instead of having 0.01 as a maximum current, you should get a deflection current at 1 only. Okay, 1 ampere. Understood? So now this is only said that it is connected by, sorry, it is constructed by connecting a shunt. Shunt is what? This is small resistance. This is small resistance. And why do we need a small resistance? If you're having a big resistance, the current will not pass through it. If you're having big resistance, the current won't pass through it. That's why you need a small resistance. If you have a small resistance of appropriate value, then only it will absorb a current of 9.99. Otherwise, it will absorb a different current. Understood? So it will absorb a different current. We will do a numerical on this. After this. Then you will understand in a better way. Okay. So now, if you are given with the galvanometer with the parameters Ig and Rg, so these are the values of galvanometer, and if we wish to construct an emitter of range Ia such that Ia is greater than Ig, so this is what we have to do, that I have explained. So I'll just draw the figure for you. Okay, I'll just draw the figure for you. So we are having this galvanometer. Okay, so this galvanometer can only take Ig value. It cannot take a value greater than Ig. But I wish to pass a current of Ia such that Ia value is very, very large as compared to Ig. So what we are supposed to do? We are supposed to bypass this current. Okay, some amount of current we have to bypass through a small resistance. Okay, so this is Rs now. So this is Ia minus Ig. Ia minus Ig. Now we will do little analysis for this. What value of Rs should be there? Because for a appropriate value of Rs only you will have that current. Okay, you will have this current. This current will be corresponding to a particular value of Rs. So that value of Rs we are going to find out. Now, suppose this is a point A and this is point B. Okay, so now what we are going to do is, can I say that potential difference, okay, I'm writing it like this, that potential difference across galvanometer, okay, the potential difference across galvanometer, is it equal to potential difference across resistor shunt? Is it equal to across the shunt? Okay, because they are connected in parallel, okay, so I'm writing that here also, because parallel connection is there, because of parallel connection, okay. Now potential difference across galvanometer, what you will write, it should be Rg into Ig is equals to potential difference across shunt, what you will write, Rs into Ia minus Ig. This is what you will write. Now you calculate the value of Rs from here. So Rs must be equal to Rg Ig divided by Ia minus Ig. So this is the value. Okay. Do you understand it now? Yes. So this is the analysis. Okay, so let us do a problem on this. Okay, then you will understand in a better way. Yeah, this is the problem. Just read the problem. So it says that a galvanometer has a coil resistance of 99. Okay, so Rg value is 99. Rg value is 99 ohms. Its full deflection current Ig value is 0.01 ampere. Okay, find the value of shunt resistance required to convert into a ammeter of range 0.1. Ammeter of range 0.1. A range of 0.1 means from 0 to 0.1 ampere it can measure. That means you have to construct a device. Okay, you have to construct a device whose smallest reading is 0 and the largest reading that you can take is 1, like this. This is the emitter. This should be the final emitter. Okay, equivalent emitter like that you should be having. Okay, now let us draw the figure first. Let us draw the figure here. So this is galvanometer. Okay, fine. This is its resistance, internal resistance. So this is G. Rg value is 99 ohms. Okay, the current that it can take, is 0.01. Okay, so this is the shunt which you will connect like this. Okay, you have to find out the value of Rs, and the current that you wish to pass is 0.1 ampere. Okay, now we will do that analysis. So the potential difference across galvanometer and shunt is same. Okay, since Rg and Rs are parallel to each other. So what I can say, potential difference across Rg must be equal to potential difference across Rs. Now, potential difference across Rg, how you will calculate? It is 0.01 into 99. Now, potential difference across Rs, how will you find? Yes, Rs will be given as 0.1 minus 0.01. Okay, just tell me, anyone, just tell me this calculation. Just solve it and tell. This is 0.1 minus 0.01. Anyone who has solved this, just tell me the value of this quantity. So Rs value will be, yes, it will be 0. Okay, I can write it as 0.99 divided by, anyone who has solved this? Yes. You are solving also, or you are just simply sitting? 9 you will get. I'm not asking you the value of Rs. I'm asking you the value of 0.1 minus 0.01. Yes, it should be what? 0.09. 0.09 you will get. Okay, so you will be having this as 11 ohms. So Rs value will be 11 ohms. Okay, now just try to understand this one thing. What we can say from here, just try to understand this thing, that if you are having, just see here, if you are having a resistance, okay, of 11 ohm, if you are having a resistance of 11 ohm, then only 0.09 current will drop. Otherwise it won't draw 0.09. Okay, so you should not have a shunt other than 11. You may have a shunt greater than 11, but you should not have a shunt you should not have a shunt greater than 11. It can be less than 11. Why? Because if it is more than 11, so what will happen? Less amount of current will pass, and the remaining current has to pass through galvanometer. So that value will exceed 0.01, and if it exceeds 0.01, so the galvanometer will be destroyed. It can be, the shunt resistance can be less than 11. It can be 10, it can be 9, it can be 8. Okay, but it should not be greater than 11. Why? If it is greater than 11, what will happen? Less amount of current will pass through it, and if less amount of current will pass through this shunt, more amount of current has to pass through the galvanometer, which will destroy my galvanometer. That I don't want. Understood? So now what I'm trying to say, that if I pass 0.1 ampere current through the main circuit, so 0.01 ampere passes through the galvanometer, 0.09 current passes through the shunt. Okay, that time I will get full deflection. That time I will get full deflection. Now suppose if I pass 0.0, suppose I'm passing 0.09. Understood? Suppose if I'm passing 0.09 through the main circuit, 0.09 only. What will happen? If I'm passing 0.09 through the main circuit, let us do the calculation for that also. Okay? Let us do the calculation for that also. Potential difference. PD is potential difference. So many times I have written by now. Suppose if I, instead of passing 0.1, okay, I'm taking this thing here. So this value you have calculated as 11. This value you have calculated as 11. So I'm keeping it as 11 only because you have fixed it. Okay. Now instead of having 0.01, instead of having 0.01, now I'm having 0.09 ampere. Okay. Still it is same value. It is still, this will be same. Still it will be same. Okay. The deflection current will be same only. Now what I can say, again I can say, potential difference across galvanometer should be equal to potential difference across the shunt. Okay. So what you will do now? VG. So it will be 99 into 0.01 is equals to. Understood? Fine. RS value is 11. RS value is 11. What amount of current will pass now? Because this amount of current is not going to pass. This current is not going to pass. Understood? That amount of current is not going to pass. Okay. Now, if 0.01 is, it will not pass. This 0.01 also will not pass through it. So I will write here only I dash, IG dash. Okay. IG dash is not a full deflection current. So I minus IG dash, you will have this value. Okay. So I minus IG dash divided by IG dash is equals to 99 by 11. So this is 9 now. Okay. This is 9. So now I value I have already given you. The value of I have already given you, which is 0.09. Okay. 0.09. Okay. Minus IG dash is equals to 9 IG dash. Okay. So that becomes 10. So this will become 10 IG dash. Then IG dash becomes how much? 0.009. Just see the current that will pass through the, galvanometer. This amount of current passes through the galvanometer now. Okay, this amount of current will pass through the galvanometer. It will not show the full deflection. Why? Because full deflection was at this, but it is having this. Will it show the full deflection? Never it will show the full deflection. So if I have a less amount of current than this, you will not have a full deflection in it. That I have shown you. Okay. If you pass a current less than 0.1 ampere, what will happen? The full deflection current you will not have. You will have a lesser deflection. Why? Because the IG, the current through galvanometer becomes 0.009. Okay, this IG dash is not a full deflection current now. This IG dash is not a full deflection current. Okay, not a full deflection current, not a full deflection current. Okay, so with this I'll finish this session. Okay, just take down the slides. Okay, fast, do it fast. Tomorrow, if any doubt you are having, you can ask tomorrow. Okay, first 10 to 15 minutes only doubt session will keep. Okay, first 10 minutes doubt session only. Okay, just do it fast. This is the first slide. Done. This is the second slide. Done. Third slide. This is the fourth slide. Fifth slide. This is the sixth slide. Okay, then voltmeter we have not done. We had done one numerical. So this is that numerical. This is that numerical. Okay, after this you just analyze this also. If you can understand this one, because I'm not, see here in this I'm changing the maximum current. Initially the maximum current was 0.1, now I have done it 0.09. Now because you have reduced it to 0.09, so you will not have a full deflection in the galvanometer. Why? Because galvanometer's full deflection was at 0.01. Now the current that is passing through it is what? This one, 0.009. So if the current passing through it is 0.009, so it will never show you the full deflection. Okay, it will never show you the full deflection. Okay, so you just analyze both the numericals, it will be clear to you. Okay, so with this I'll just finish this session. Anybody is having any doubt, you can just ask tomorrow. Okay, fine, thank you.